I'm 25 years old.
Well, I'm a little bit younger than you, and it hurts just as much. I guess I'm assuming you could be in more pain than me, but
I'm not. It just is. It's always tough getting.
You know what it is?
Hitting the road on the day after a game. Although that Yukon Cornelius is something. His
really
beard is enormous. It takes him a year to grow it, by the way.
Oh, is that how long?
I think I read that in the paper.
Wow.
Anyway, good morning. There's a lot to get into here this morning, and I am officially prepping for tomorrow's colonoscopy. And my plan is to come in. Everybody's telling me you can't do it. You're not going to do it. Trust me, you won't do it. But the plan is to come in tomorrow morning.
Okay.
There's also a plan, I have to say, I believe there's a plan in place for the alternative.
Well, yeah, there kind of is. I mean, but it would be easier if you just said this afternoon, hey, we're not doing it, and then I could sleep in tomorrow. That would be great, too. I mean, that would be fine.
No, I think we ought to go for it. I really do. Did anybody see Saturday Night Live over the weekend and the Elf on a Shelf?
No.
It might be one of the funniest bits I've seen on SNL in a long time.
Boy, it's sorely missed, right?
And it's quite. It's who you're looking like this morning.
Oh, you haven't seen him yet.
What's his name? What is his position in the Trump cabinet? Former Trump.
Steve Mnuchin?
No. You look like former governor.
Rick Scott? No. Rick No.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway,
I'm trying to think of people
Chris
with glasses.
Christie? No, just kidding.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
You look just like Chris Christie. It's crazy.
You look like Chris Christie's after picture.
Yeah, I'm more of a Chris Christie, I think.
Anyway, let's talk just a little bit about the comments last night. I will give away tickets. We have 2 pairs of tickets to give away for tomorrow night's game. I'll save one to give away tomorrow, and we'll give away one this morning because I have. I'm not going tomorrow night. I'm assuming that I'm not going to feel like going tomorrow night. So in advance, I just want to give the tickets away. It's tomorrow night's game. They're playing. Who are they playing? Binghamton. Which is
tomorrow's your event.
Which is a big rivalry. So
this is also Bomber Hat giveaway night, as I see on the tickets here.
This morning is it's Thursday, which means we have a free money question that is worth $500 this morning. So get ready for that. We'll get into it. Ed Welch from AAA. We're going to speak with him on headlights and gas prices.
So he was all. So when I had reached out to him, originally Jeff and I were kind of talking about it. Well, we were talking about it yesterday about how one gas station's like 30 cents lower than all the rest of them. So I was asking him about why that may be. Because the one is, it's significantly lower than
even lower than BJ's.
If you're saying 250, I drove by it again today. It's 247 at my favorite station.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And even the premium gas is $2.97.
Okay, can we just stop beating around the bush? What is the station?
Oh, it's a speedway on the corner of
Speedway.
And Speedway took over where the old there
was a Hess.
It was no.
Yes,
it
was
a Hess on Commercial Drive.
I walked in on a conversation yesterday at the bank, and there was a guy from India, it seemed like, because I heard everybody talking to him about what's it like over there and what are the gas prices like over there. And he was saying this whole thing about no ethanol and higher and lower gas prices is ridiculous because it all comes from the same place. I don't know if that's true or not.
By the way, I was trying to say
it's
it's
across
across
from. So apparently he has some credibility. So
it's across from Voss's, the old gas station that was it was like a Tiger Mart or something.
But that's
like
not
that.
247, is it?
It is. It's the same price,
and
it's lower with a car wash.
That used to be that's the one where you can go with the Price Chopper receipt and get
not
anymore. Okay,
but great deal, especially if you get a car wash. I think it's $237.
Also, since we're throwing them out there, the Burn Dairy on Risqué Boulevard in Whitesboro, I believe, is $249.
Wow, $250, but you have to have a membership. I wonder where BJ's is today if they've gone down even lower because you would think with a membership card you'd get the lowest price anywhere. The Turning Stone, by the way, their gas stations, Save-Ons are always pretty much, but they have a deal where they have to keep the price up.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. All right, Pelosi, the word is that she is now in. She has the votes. And she has come to an agreement. I mean, there are some that are saying, they gave these freshmen that were in districts like Brindisi's a pass. I heard recently of a heated, and I'd like to confirm this with Anthony Brindisi, of a heated exchange between Brindisi and Pelosi.
I saw his office pictures
last week.
Did you see his office? He got his office.
Yeah, it's outside.
No, but the view is like construction of like I mean, it's a construction site essentially.
Yeah,
like a brand new construction site.
Well,
And it looks like a front office for another office.
She's in, but says that she will be out by 2022. So she will be in for 4 years, and there were, I think, 6 of the 16 that have agreed to come out and support her, and Brindisi is not one of them.
It's quite presumptive, isn't it?
Part of well, she's got the votes now.
No, just that she's going to be there for 4 years. I mean, that could all change in 2, couldn't it?
No. It certainly could change whether she's the speaker, but not that she's the leader.
Oh, that's okay, right.
So she might end up being the minority leader after 2020.
So is that she's saying
Correct.
she's retiring from Congress in 2022?
She's calling part of this deal. They're calling for term limits, which I don't believe will even pass. To be honest with you. Is it Santorum? What's he look like?
That's what I was trying to say. Rick Santorum, but he's Secretary of Energy.
Absolutely. He's the one that couldn't come up with the Department of Energy. He had, during the debates, remember, he had four departments that he felt we should be getting rid of.
And he couldn't remember.
He couldn't remember the Department of Energy, and that's
the CD guy.
That's what he's received. So. Anyway, so I'd like to try to grab Brindisi this morning and speak with him. Because I think it's pretty. This is pretty interesting, and I've heard there was a heated exchange, and behind closed doors, that this Nancy Pelosi is ruthless. So I kind of wonder. They asked her to vow not to retaliate against the members that have been against her and will remain against her, and she refused and said, "I will not place that vow on the table because I do not retaliate." That's what she said.
Okay. You know, and what's with the 6 of the 6? No, I don't. The 6 of the 16. That
there were 16 House members, Democrats, that opposed her, and those were they were the rebels, and Brindisi was among those.
It still is,
and still is, but now. There are those that have cut deals with her, and they're going to support her.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing. Somebody got something to
There's no doubt
teams.
about that.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like if Brindisi could have gotten something for this area, maybe it would be worth it. But I don't think he, based on as strong as he was against it, I don't think he could turn around and be for it.
Agreed. I thought the same thing. Maybe he could have leveraged it, but at the same time, you can't have one of your top 2 points. I'm not going to support her, and then turn around.
Especially when your opponent's top thing against you was you're going to vote for Nancy once you get in there.
So, in one more note on Rick Santorum, a.k.a. Andrew Domini over here.
Thank you.
Did you put anything on Facebook yet? Because I'm
throw that up.
Throwing up a picture of Andrew. And anybody.
Do
you wear contacts? Is that what you do?
No, I've been told I have to wear glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't wear contacts?
I know. I can't even do eye drops.
Because you look stupid in glasses.
Oh, well, great.
I'm joking. You look good. It's a nice look for you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited. Yesterday I announced that the Mets will not go forward with this stupid deal, this trade. I don't know if they're not going to, but we've been begging them and lobbying them. But the big news today is that Dino Babers is done. The Syracuse University has done what we've obviously played no role. I get it. But what we've been asking for, and that is give this guy enough money and a good enough deal to stay. And they have signed a deal, and he's here to stay.
Well, but according
we do not
to Jeff,
know. We do not know the details, however.
According to Jeff, and Jeff, I hate to stir the pot this morning, but you always have to find a little devil's advocate side of the story. And I mentioned that to him before sports, and he goes, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything." I said, "What? Did he sign an extension?"
Doesn't.
Yeah, he could leave at any time, but clearly he's got interest if he's signing a long-term contract.
I mean, he'd have to break his contract. What do you think, Davey?
He's been rumored for numerous jobs this off season, so
right.
I think that's why they took him up on the deal.
I think the fact that he signed a deal right now is significant.
His name, it's long-term.
His name was mentioned for the Maryland job, and he was mentioned for the Kansas State job before it went to the coach that
From North
Colgate
Dakota
played
State,
against.
yeah.
And White House Chief of Staff. He's up for that. I believe he's turned it down.
We
so.
just talked about this. What Smitty just said there. I had a story this week that Colgate played North Dakota State, and their head coach just signed a deal to be whose new coach? Kansas State. And what did you say? Watching the game this
just
weekend?
over the weekend, they're like they've worked out an agreement. He's staying put, and then and I can't believe they've even made that announcement before they're done. I mean, they're still in the playoffs.
Yes,
I would have waited until afterwards before any deal was done.
Something else? The previous week, James Madison coach denied everything in a post-game news conference. He went to East Carolina.
Yeah.
Means nothing. I hope he stays. I'm just saying it doesn't mean he's going to.
WWE Live. That's got to make you happy. Coming to the Adirondack Bank Center in March.
Yeah, it's the one before WrestleMania.
This is a big one, though, right? This is unlike the traveling show.
When did the tickets go on sale? I can't wait.
This is live.
This is the one that's going to be on TV?
It's a house show.
Are you sure? It's calling it WWE Live.
Yeah, that means it's a house show. It's like the road to WrestleMania.
Okay, so it is not. So it is not going to be on TV.
Well, WrestleMania is in New York City this year.
Okay. I don't know anything about this sport that isn't a sport, so it's kind of hard. But tickets,
I know it's not a sport, but I just like watching it.
The event is Saturday, March 23rd. Tickets go on sale. Are you ready? Tomorrow. Tickets go on sale.
Tomorrow.
At the Adirondack Bank Center. And you should get a hold of a season ticket holder because Comet season ticket holders oftentimes get a pre-advanced opportunity to purchase tickets. Okay? Don't talk to me. I'll be doing a colonoscopy.
Can I say something to my hello, Dad?
You should. What else? I want to say that I mentioned Dino Babers, Herkimer County, as the legislature there, they passed their budget, but it does come with a slight tax increase. Initially, they had talked about no tax increase, but it does come with a slight tax increase. Not a lot, but a slight tax increase. And what else did I want to get into here this morning? Oh, that guy, remember the guy that ran into the New York State Trooper?
Yeah.
And really, it looked like he actually hit the gas and ran into the trooper and killed him.
Convicted of murder, actually.
Convicted of murder, was sent to prison, and now has died in prison. No one knows how, whether it was natural causes or who knows, but he is now listed as deceased. Kind of an interesting story there.
So will they do an autopsy?
I'm assuming we'll eventually find out what happened, but at this point, he is now listed as deceased. Hold on tight. Andrew will update the news. Lots to get into here this morning. As I said, Comets tickets for Friday night to give away. A couple of pairs to give away. Nagel, by the way, our beer of the week, who is not in this morning, is unable to go tomorrow night and is giving away his tickets as well. One thing I can tell you about season ticket holders, everybody wants their tickets to be used, especially the fact that these games are sold out. Every game is sold out. People really, you hate to see your tickets go unused. So Nagel is hoping that somebody takes his. So we'll give his tickets away coming up here in the 6 o'clock hour before 7 o'clock, and we'll give you that chance coming up. I guess it'd be poaching, technically, is what they'd call it at Disney. But
Disney? Do they shoot the characters at Disney?
If you've ever been to Disney, they're big into conservation. They're big into animal protection. So it's all about Africa. So when you go to the animal kingdom, is that what it's called?
They've actually got the safari ride where there's...
The safari ride is all about poaching. There are people that are poaching. That's how the guy says it. They're poaching. And that's what this guy was doing. So in Western New York, a man was fined $1,712.50. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
By the Chautauqua County judge for shooting a doe out of the back seat of a car in June, and that was also outside of the hunting season. And then finishing it off with a knife. That incident, along with others involving individuals who were ticketed by state environmental conservation officers for various hunting infractions, such as hunting and killing a buck over bait. So that's the other thing that they'll do is they'll put bait out.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how we're all into hunting, but the minute somebody it's got to be fair. You can't be cheating.
Well, yeah.
Headlights off limits. Baiting them off limits. Now,
June, off limits.
June, absolutely.
But if you want to put a bunch of deer pee on yourself and go out in the woods, you can do it.
That's absolutely right.
If it's the right camera.
Climb up into that stand so you get a really great view, and a good deer scent will help. So it is funny. It's a sport. We've got to follow the rules of sport and be respectful. Be respectful of the animal. Using headlights, that won't work.
Well, but in all truth, there's some people that wait.
Before people send their hate mail, you are very pro-hunting. Let's make that clear, correct?
What I was going to say
absolutely.
Is some people,
I don't hunt personally. It's
neither
not,
do I have nothing against it.
It is absolutely not because I just want to make this very clear. I don't not hunt because it's a pro-animal thing. I feel no ill will against the animals, but I love meat. But to me, hunting is God-blessed boring.
Yeah, and he can't get up in a tree stand, so.
That's high. I have a fear of heights. I used to like to fish. Boring. If I could throw my line in and pull out a fish every 15 seconds, I think I'm just too attention deficit. I would annoy any hunter. I'd be like, so, how you guys doing over there? Shh. What are you doing? You're scaring the deer away. And my mother used to be like, shh. You're scaring the fish away. Yeah, I just think she didn't want me to talk.
I think you're right.
Anyway, the Environmental Conservation Department, whatever the heck that's called.
No, but the baiting rules are good because, some people wait for years to get the buck that grows from a, this point buck to that point buck. And then some schmuck's going to come around and just bait the deer, and you've been working on it for 3 or 4 years, and this guy just puts his headlights in his deer bait and, boom, takes it.
Well, there are several cases that you can read about today of cases where the Department of Environmental Conservation came out and fined people who had been ticketed. This person, as I mentioned, in Chautauqua County, $1,712.50. Not sure why that exact number was the number, but there are other people that were fined in Herkimer and Oneida counties over bait, so baiting the deer, putting out food, and then going after them. It's actually illegal to even feed the deer. And if you're ever up in Old Fort, it's unbelievable how these deer have become accustomed to dealing with humans.
They walk right up to the car.
They'll walk right up to the car. Yeah. And it's a bit of an attraction in the North
Don't
Country.
feed the bears either.
We've talked about that before. As a kid, I totally remember people putting their kids right up on top of the hood of the car and the deer or the bears coming right up near the car.
Look at the bear.
Don't you understand? Those things can attack at any time.
Yeah.
But no, that's all. It's all good. This story about the kid in Delaware. I wanted to talk about that. The 11-year-old kid who's had to change his name because it was Trump. Are we sure that's a real story?
It's coming from W.
Sounds.
Give me his name. I'll Google
like
him.
I've got the story here, and I'll play some audio for you.
Wilmington,
it's
Delaware.
An 11-year-old boy named Joshua Trump. And kids won't stop bullying him over his last name. I got to tell you something. The fact that he changes his name to something else is not going to stop the bullying. It's probably only going to increase it.
Especially when you change it to Berto.
Yeah.
All due respect to...
What's better, Derminio?
His parents are saying it was so bad that they had to homeschool him for a while. But when he went back, the bullying continued. So the school changed his name in their system to his dad's name, Berto. That's apparently his father's name.
Okay.
Here are the parents and the principal talking about it. And I guess I don't know why they have different names, but it might be they didn't marry. They could be divorced. We don't know as part of the story. But here they are, both talking about this along with the principal.
He was getting ridiculed and bullied for the fact that his last name was Trump.
They curse at him. They call him an idiot. They call him stupid.
I pulled him out of school and homeschooled him for a year.
I do know the teachers were aware of the last name, and I know, even in speaking with the student, that the teachers do their very best to try not to say his last name.
You've got to be kidding me. I have confidence in the world that we have not stooped to this level. However, kids can be mean.
Yeah.
And I remember helping out a kindergarten class when I was a senior in high school. And in gym class, I was like the whatever I'd be. The
teacher's pet?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I'd do anything to be in the gym and not in the math classroom.
Yeah.
Anyway, I couldn't believe how the kids would automatically hone in on the kid who looked a little bit different, whether it was weight or who knows what.
And brutally honest about it.
I mean, mean. And I was like, I found myself trying to protect this kid because the kids were just mean. It had nothing to do with. I don't think this kid being picked on has anything to do with his last name. It's just one more thing they can grab onto to pick on the kid who's probably different. Because trust me,
that's a good point.
If this kid was one of the cool kids, trust me, they wouldn't be picking on him. Right? They'd be celebrating his name.
Yeah.
So if these guys think that changing his name is going to stop the bullying. Think again. And going public with this, I'm not sure that even is going to help, and actually will probably have an opposite effect.
Agreed and agreed. Now, here's my question, and it's to your point. I think it would answer one of those questions, is that so Trump gets elected, all of a sudden the bullying starts?
Right. It's the dumbest thing. If I were the kid, I'd just walk around saying, "You're fired."
Yes, right?
I'm going to tweet about you tonight.
You're laughing at me because he's a multimillionaire, super successful, and now he's president of the United States. We'll talk in 25 years.
Meanwhile, we've got Angelo, our intern from Proctor, who comes in dressed as Trump. Yeah. And, but
if I was that kid, I'd say my name is on a building in New York City. Next time you go, check it out.
This is a stupid story so that these people can come out and say, it's so bad. These people hate Trump so badly. They're picking on an 11-year-old kid because his name is Trump. No, your kid is a little odd, and that's why he's being picked on. That's my take.
You're joining the chorus, though, aren't you? Your kid's odd. Your kid's
I don't know him. I'm not.
He deserves it.
I'm not in Delaware. Well, he's going to get it now, isn't he?
I think so.
It's going to get worse now, idiots. Anyway, earlier this year, General Mills came out with Lucky Charms Frosted Flakes, which was clearly a bite off of Frosted Flakes by Kellogg's. Now, Kellogg's is getting revenge by releasing Honey Nut Frosted Flakes. Apparently, there's a cereal war going on out there, which is clearly a takeoff of Honey Nut Cheerios by General Mills. They actually had a cereal kind of like it back in the 80s called Honey and Nut Corn Flakes. I don't know what this audio is. I can't see what they're going to put here for me, but I'm going to play it anyway. Listen.
Kellogg's new Honey and Nut Corn Flakes.
Okay, it's a commercial.
Old commercial.
Anyway, it's the annual Children's Christmas celebration at the
Can you tell me those companies again? Because I don't.
Kellogg's and General Mills.
Okay, are we sure they're owned by different?
They are
super corporations.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
yeah. You can double check that, but I'm pretty sure. It was the annual Children's Christmas celebration at a beach in South Africa the other day, and the kids got a visit from Santa. It was actually a sea rescue team in a boat, and one of the first responders had gotten dressed up as Santa to meet the kids on shore. Unfortunately, he ate it when he tried to get out of the boat, and Santa fell in the water.
You have to find a life jacket, please, from airport.
Oh, I fell in the water. Yeah. I don't know why I'm reading that story, but I thought it was interesting. And there's a new poll out that says 7% of people, 7%, tend to spend more on themselves at Christmas time than anybody else. Do you know people like that? 7%.
Yeah, I don't know anybody like that.
I was, honest to God, we were shopping at that Newport place that Joe Loda always talks about, and I picked up this. I said, I need that. I got this. And my wife was very angry about that. We were not shopping for you today. We're shopping for Christmas. And I'm like, no, but I need that.
Yeah, that's a necessity. But for me, it's sometimes like I was buying a gift for somebody recently, and I liked it so much I bought one for myself.
I just don't think
I think sometimes happens.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And the owner of Jimmy John's, not the local owners of Jimmy John's, that's a sub shop, right?
Yeah.
A sub only. There's one in New Hartford, and now there's one on Genesee Street,
Yeah,
over
over
near
by,
where the Catholic bookstore was.
Yeah.
Anyway, the owner of Jimmy John's sandwich chain paid off $81,000 worth of layaway items at 3 Walmarts in Illinois this week. And it helped a Walmart employee named Stella Barrera pay it forward because she was already planning her own good deed. Last week, she put 8 bikes on layaway and was going to donate them to underprivileged children. She was planning to use her next paycheck to buy them, and now she doesn't have to.
When I got paid on Thursday, I was going to put the bikes, take them out with my paycheck. I know the feeling of struggling, and I know the feeling of seeing my kids happy when they got presents when they were little. So I wanted to give back and help a kid that would enjoy this bike too.
And, probably if she is an employee of Walmart, chances are she's making, it's $15 now, right? Minimum wage. She's made, at least in New York State. She's not in New York State.
New York City, anyway.
Either way, she's very touched by that. And that was very nice. 5 bikes, you're probably talking $250, $300, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the bike. And as Andrew aired in the news earlier this morning, yes, it's true, Sesame Street aired an episode on YouTube yesterday where one of the Muppets is homeless. Her name is Lily, and she was first known back in 2011 when her family was having trouble finding enough to eat.
Bye, guys. Adios. How you doing, Lily?
Oh, I'm okay. It's just that, everyone else is going home. And, I miss our apartment. And now we don't have our own place to live. And sometimes I wonder if we'll ever have our own home again.
Lily, that's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you're all staying with me.
There it is.
Man.
Are we, do kids need to be dealing with this?
No, they don't.
At this age? Because you're talking about kids, your son's age.
My son is 3, and he watches Sesame Street. Again, I'm sorry. I understand there are some short-term circumstances where a family might lose a home or an apartment for some reason. I just can't fathom.
Well, if you're a child that hasn't been caught up by the system, and your parents have a problem, and they have no home, and remember, I think homelessness is kind of interesting because what you're saying is there are enough programs out there in America today where you don't have to starve, you don't have to go hungry. There are programs and charity. The problem is when you have parents that don't take advantage of that, whether they're too proud or there's some sort of a mental imbalance,
job to foreclosure,
and the authorities haven't caught up. You're trapped as a kid. You're trapped in that situation. I guess that happens.
And I can understand for some adults that they say, I'm too proud, I don't need this, I will get back on my feet, or for whatever reason. But at the same time, when you have a child,
they need to be punched in the face.
You cannot be living on the sidewalk with a child.
Yeah, suck up
under
your pride,
a bridge.
Suck up your pride and take care of.
There's a big bird and a grouch in a can down the street. I mean, it's not...
Anyway, I'm not sure this is something that should be on Sesame Street. I'm not sure I agree with it. Anyway, it is. It is. Coming up next hour, our free money question of the day. It's worth $500 from the Hobica Law Firm on WIBX. Here's what I'm looking at: is the Speedway on Genesee Street is $257, Sunoco, Oriskany Boulevard, and Main Street is $252. Speedway you're talking about on Commercial Drive is $247, and BJ's is now at $2.45. If you are a member, standing by on the line right now from AAA is Ed Welch. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Bill. How are you guys doing today?
Good. So there is it's interesting that based on a gas price tracker that is out there, that the spread in our area ranges from $2.45, which we just mentioned was BJ's, to $2.89. That's a 44-cent spread throughout the area. Why? How do we justify that when the gas is all coming from the same place?
Well, gas is not coming from the same place.
Okay.
And there are some different sources, but the truth of the matter is everyone's retail situation is different.
Right, right.
Let's say, for example, you were in a gas station that's at $2.79 right now, and you're not a very high volume station, or you're the only one within 3 or 4 or 5 miles.
Right.
You think you're going to lower your price or keep it high?
Yeah, you're going to do, especially at these smaller gas stations.
It's called business.
And I guess
here's what happens: as the price is dropping, which we predicted that we'd be seeing 240s before the end of the year, and it looks like we're seeing some of that today.
Yeah.
Not widespread, but we're seeing it. The guys that bought gas in a low volume gas station, let's say 2 weeks ago, paid a lot more for it than the guys at a high volume gas station that's buying a load this morning.
And can you explain just a little bit? We went through this back when the prices went over $4. A lot of the smaller gas stations just didn't survive, and how they have to buy the gas, and they got to fill that tank, which is extremely expensive. If you buy it when the price is high, you're stuck with that price until your tank is empty, right?
Yeah, unless you want to take the loss on it just to get rid of it. And a big chain company can do that.
Right.
A small gas station mom and pop certainly can't. But there are some variations here. If you're a high volume station, and again, up at the BJ's price at $2.45 this morning is certainly a great bargain. But there's other prices that are not so great. We tell people to shop around. The regional price, though, is dropping, but what's really interesting is, regionally speaking, we're still quite high here as compared to other places. I mean, the average price in Syracuse right now is $2.60. That's the average.
Yeah.
Where the average price here is $2.71 if you average them all out. So we're running 10 cents higher, and of course the Valley's running higher than that. So it again, it depends where you are. For example, Nida County as a whole county is at $2.70 this morning. Herkimer County is at $2.76. Onondaga County the whole county is at $2.54. Syracuse price is at $2.60, as I just mentioned. So the variation across the state, I look at a map that has county by county, and it's updated at 3 a.m. every day, and it's amazing that the spread across the state of New York.
Yeah.
It is, and Onondaga County is having some of the cheapest gas in the state, and they generally always do. That corridor coming from down Route 81 from Canada, straight, if you think about it, comes straight down and goes right through the state and right into Pennsylvania. There's a big tank farm in Syracuse, and what the retailers don't want is people driving by and just getting their gas out of Binghamton.
Right.
So really, that's one of the reasons why Onondaga County is always better priced than we are.
It is. I mean, one of the problems I think we all have as consumers, and I understand what you say, it's business, and it is. But as consumers, when you see a certain convenience store chain, and so it's not like we're talking about Buffalo and Utica. We're talking about Utica, Rome. And you see that chain across town, just 3 miles across town in one neighborhood, has the price at, I don't know, $2.50. And all the way on the other side in another neighborhood, it's $2.79, because that's an actual differential right there. So
that's called zone pricing.
It is,
and they price it. They price it
based on where it is.
They can sell it at.
Yeah.
Listen, there's one chain that has a store 4 blocks apart. One's on, I won't say the name, but there's one on Genesee Street, and the other one's on Oneida Street.
Yeah,
and not very far apart. And those stations those two stations could be 7-8 cents apart in price.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But I don't understand.
And that's common.
Yeah,
but because they feel that people driving up, let's put it this way: if you're on Genesee Street, you're going to have another option a few blocks further up.
Sure. Right.
If you're on Oneida Street, you're not.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Well, no, that's kind of what always confused me, is that there's so many people at the higher priced gas station. They just are indifferent about it.
Well,
and you're right about that. And let's face it, you're going in there to buy coffee and donuts.
Right.
And the other issue, of course, is that some of these brands have these member prices, and the savings that you save on it has nothing to do with gasoline, except on Sunday. The price is basically the fact that you're paying cash, or you hooked it directly to your checking account, and they're not paying the merchant fees on the credit card. So they're saving 3% on a dollar.
Right.
So if you think about it, at $3 a gallon, around numbers, you're talking 9 cents just in merchant fees.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're paying them cash, there's no merchant fees. So they take that savings and pass some of it on to you. So they're not really discounting the gas.
Right.
When they discount it on Sunday, you are getting a gas discount and the merchant fee discount. So that's generally a pretty good bargain. But then again, you can go to another place where you can be a member, and on the north side of town, and save even more money.
Well, and especially if you're a member of BJ's and you became a member not for the gas. You just became a member because you buy a lot of your groceries.
And you're right there. I'm a member there myself, and I go in the store all the time. I don't go there. I do buy gas there on occasion if I need it.
Yeah.
But I didn't become a member just to buy gas.
Right, which means that's kind of a bonus. Same thing. I do have to say the same thing with the Price Chopper deal, where you buy your groceries and you've earned so much off on gas.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything. I'm not buying my groceries there because of the gas. They just give me that on the receipt. So
right, and my wife does that pretty faithfully, and she'll go fill up her car, and it's 40 cents off.
Yeah, it burns me up every time we let it expire because we always seem to do that.
And interestingly, one of the stores, one of the gas stations on Oriskany Boulevard, no longer is part of that.
Okay.
There used to be a gas station right in the corners by the mills there,
by Voss's,
with a car wash next to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they participated in that program, and they
were always
the gas company bought them out, so they're no longer involved with that.
It's Sunoco. They were always a Sunoco.
Yes.
Yeah, now they're
no
the
longer.
Speedway.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's Speedway, and again, the market changes. People buy stores, they sell stores, but the price differential right now is staggering because, like you said, I see the 280 and I see the 245, and it's all within a few miles of each other.
Talking to Ed Welch from AAA and also the host of WIBX's Auto Talk.
This is an obvious point, but I'll just make it. The driver, as Andrew asked the question, I think the driver for a lot of people is convenience. So even if you're a nickel, or let's say you're 7 cents difference from gas stations, you buy 10 gallons, I mean, it's only 70 cents. So if I'm going in to grab a sandwich and I got to get milk, and I got to do this. Instead of having to run to the grocery store, too, people will just try. It's a convenience thing. And, the retailers know that.
It's kind of like using your ATM your ATM away from your bank.
Right.
Like my bank, if you use the ATM at you go into a Stewart's or something, use the ATM. I believe the charge is $2.50. And my bank charges me $2.50.
Yeah,
but there are those times where, God, I got to get cash, and I'm not driving all the way over there.
Exactly.
So, convenience plays a role in our waste, I'm afraid. And Ed, I want to talk just briefly, if we could. What is going on with headlights? You're driving down the road, and the brightest headlights in the world, and they're on their low beams.
Okay, so Ed, let me jump in for a second because when I got my new, I bought a vehicle. It was a 2018, I guess. Like it was earlier this year. No, it was 2017.
Yeah.
Anyway, the LED headlights. I can't tell you how often I get the flash from people who think I have my high beams on.
Yeah. They're bright, Ed.
Yeah, and they are bright. But conversely, have you ever seen how those yellowed headlights on some of the plastic covers are headlights, some older cars?
Yeah.
Well, they turn yellow, and those are much, much dimmer. So you've kind of got two ends of the spectrum here illuminating this conversation a little bit. You've got new cars with xenon headlights and LED lights that are very bright, and then you've got the older cars where the covers over the headlights start to yellow, and it really diminishes their lights terribly. So a couple of points on this. Number one is that on the newer lights, and believe it or not, we're not at the European standard. The European standard lights are brighter.
Really?
And but they're aimed differently. so you've got a couple of issues here with American headlights. In the old days, you can adjust headlight aiming pretty well.
Right.
Matter of fact, some of us were old enough to remember having that checked on the New York State inspection. There used to be a headlight aiming device that we used to put on the front of the car and would tell you whether the lights were aimed correctly or not.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Nobody does that, of course. That's not part of the deal anymore. They just look to see if the lights actually work, which many of them don't. But the bottom line is that there's two problems simultaneously: these brighter lights, and then the frequency of the light. You notice some of these lights on the blue and white side, and that's what is hurting people's eyes. It's the frequency of the light, not so much the wattage of the light, but it's the frequency of the light. For example, if you're in an office with a bright fluorescent light, that's a different feeling to your eyes than if you're in a soft yellow light. And headlights used to be more in the yellow spectrum. They're more in the white and blue spectrum
very
now.
bright. Yeah.
So
my new car.
That's why people are feeling this.
I have to say, I have people blinking at me, like raising their high beams at me, and I have no idea what my headlights look like because I've never been out there in front of it.
Well, I've noticed that too. Like,
but
even
they
if,
blink at me, like maybe mine must be really bright or something.
Or sometimes it's like to let you know about a cop. But the last month, I've had 2 or 3 different occasions. Somebody will flash it like they're trying to tell me something. I have no idea. Like, all my lights work. They're not on the high beam. Maybe that's it. They just think my high beams are on.
They are brighter.
So, I heard the other day when you were doing your auto quip, where you have a suggestion for people if you're coming forward. What you should do in order to not be blindsided by bright lights.
Yeah, Bill, and the thing is, obviously you're driving, and you can look to the left, you look to the right. When I see this happening myself, what I try to do is focus on the shoulder where the line is. So you'll see the line on the shoulder. Focus on the shoulder line. Keep your car, obviously straight on the road. This way, you're not looking directly at the headlight. Obviously, you're not looking as far as you'd like, perhaps. But the other issue is you're driving. A lot of people driving beyond the light's ability to protect you. In other words, at 60 miles an hour, if your lights are 25% of what they're supposed to be, you're not going to see too much. Something can jump out in front of you, and
right.
you'll never even know it till you're almost on top of it. So it's interesting because you've got these bright lights as an issue, and you've got lights that are on older cars that with those yellowing lenses, so to speak. And there are ways to clean those up to a degree. You can't restore them to new, but there are kits out there, and I've used them to buff out headlights. As a matter of fact, I helped somebody not too long ago do this, and it did make quite a bit of difference. I did the left one and the right one, and we stood back and looked at the car, and we were kind of amazed at the difference.
Yeah,
when we turned the lights on, you can see a big difference. Remember, if you have to drive more than 10 miles to save any money on gas, you're probably not saving any money.
Yeah. As my wife says, if you have to drive more than 10 miles to get gas, you're an idiot. I don't know. That's how she puts it.
She uses that line quite a bit, though.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
It's interchangeable.
Not sure why, Ed, but she does. She's tough. Ed Welch, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. 7:30 coming up. Our free money question of the day this morning is worth $500 from the Hobico Law Firm. It's been a while since we've had a $500 winner. It comes in spurts. I just got to tell you. Like we'll have a $100 winner and then a $500 winner and another $500 winner, but it's been a while. Maybe today's the day. We'll see. $500 this morning. Are we ready for this?
Big money.
It's from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, and Chris is standing by right now. By the way, coming up, I will give you a chance to win Comets tickets, and we're going to do it with a new game on the radio.
Bill Morehouse said he was trying to win his money back. He was caller 9.
That would have been funny.
Listen, we're going to make sure the question's nice and fair today, Bill, so that you don't have to do that.
Hello, Chris in Bridgewater. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. You ready to go here?
Absolutely.
On the line is our Thursday $500, and let's do this thing. Here is your question. You'll have 7 seconds to answer it, and listen carefully to the question. Here it is. Which artist or who was the first to record the song Frosty the Snowman? Ready? Go. The first.
Burl Ives.
You're going to go with Burl Ives. A good guess, but it is not the correct guess. The Jimmy Durante did the TV version, remember?
Yeah.
That's Jimmy Durante.
I didn't.
You know the TV special, Frosty the Snowman, but it was the other guess you might have had, which is Gene Autry, who had famously did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, okay, sorry
So what was
about
the
that.
answer?
It was Gene Autry.
Oh, it was Gene Autry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Chris, we'll give you a 72 Tavern and Grill gift card, all right? And I don't know if you've been there. Have you been there yet?
Oh, yes, fantastic.
Okay, it's really good. So I don't have to sell it to you.
Oh, no.
And I'll just say, I've always talked about their pulled pork quesadilla, the tater tots.
I'm going to give you to Davey, Chris. Thanks so much. Have a great holiday, okay?
Great, you too.
Right.
The loaded tater tots. But as a matter of fact, Bill and I and Stefan actually went to lunch yesterday.
Stefan Rubitsky.
And I am trying to not be as fat as I am, so I got the chopped Cobb salad, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It
I
was
also,
phenomenal.
I yesterday had as being on the low carbs thing, which has now become a way of life. You just can't get off. Once you get on it, you'll become 1,000 pounds if you get off. Believe me, over Thanksgiving.
What happened, Bill? I had a loaf of bread.
And you just need a piece of toast.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't need
one slice.
Somewhere you find the 50 pounds you just lost. Anyway, they have a steak, a filet hoagie, which was so tender, and you get it without the hoagie roll. It no longer is a hoagie, but it's got cheese on it. It fits the diet.
So
It's
Bill
really
says
good.
he asks what the recommendation is from the young lady there, and she recommends the hoagie, and he goes, "Let me do that." but no hoagie.
No.
So it comes out on the board like it normally does, and he's cutting it up.
It's delicious.
He's cutting it
Yeah,
up
like on a plate.
like it's a plate, but it
That's
wasn't.
not too strange. What's strange is my dad when he used to order, I'll have the chicken parmesan without the cheese.
Tomorrow is my honorary Tim Reed colonoscopy. As
I'm sure he loves that.
You know, some people grew beards in honor of Tim, who had an awesome editorial yesterday in the OD. But Tim is the inspiration for me to finally do what I should have done probably 3 years ago. Anyway, colonoscopy tomorrow. Today, I plan to be in studio tomorrow. That is my goal. I am starting a little bit early so that by the time I hit 6 a.m. tomorrow, I should be clean as a whistle, so they say.
You got to hope before that. The 15
So that's
minutes to work.
the goal. Now, I'm not promising that I will be here. I'm just telling you guys.
Okay.
My
That's fair.
goal is to be here. You guys will be prepared, right, if I'm not?
Either way.
My question, maybe somebody knows the answer, and I'll ask the pharmacist today at Randall's. Can I take my, I wonder if I can take my Nexium, because I take a Nexium for acid reflux. I wonder if I can take that, because I can't, starting today, I can only have liquids.
So maybe you won't need the Nexium. If you're not
Maybe
eating
that's
anything.
true, too.
Yeah.
But I always get nervous about
You should,
that acid reflux.
Ask him.
You feel like you're going to die. Have you ever had really bad acid reflux? You feel
Well,
like
yeah.
you're going to die. That's part of the reason why I'm also doing an endoscopy.
So I would ask the pharmacist, or call over to your doctor's office. But that's a good question.
No, I'm just going to rely on people calling in.
736-0186, get your answer.
That's where I get my medical advice
Could
from.
be a co-hosting gig opening up next week.
So, by the way, no, I'm not on any other medication. No nuts and seeds, no popcorn for a week prior, which I haven't had any. And what is I can have a clear liquid today up until midnight when I can't have anything.
So
What do you
clear,
mean clear liquid?
being
Only
water.
Clear liquids, water, black coffee, tea.
Well, black coffee's not clear.
Any clear bouillon or broth or anything like that.
Okay.
Plain Jell-O, not red or purple, don't know why. Soda, regular and diet you can have, which
How is
thankfully.
it clear liquid?
Vodka's on the list.
No,
clear
it's
fruit
not.
and it's not. No, it's not.
How
Should
is
be.
soda clear liquid? How is coffee clear liquid? That's so confusing.
It doesn't have any. It's just liquid. It's plain liquid.
Okay, a
like
plain
you couldn't
liquid.
have juice with any pulp.
Okay.
So they call it clear liquids, but that's what they say.
So, and the Jell-O thing is because of the dye.
No milk, no milk products, no alcoholic beverages, no marijuana. You can't. Not that I would do that. but
Darn.
I was thinking about
What did you
it.
say
But
about the Jell-O?
It's probably because of the dye.
Oh.
those two dyes you can't use. Anyway, that is tomorrow, and I want to thank Tim Reed for the inspiration. Of course, Tim right now is just beginning treatment for its prostate cancer. Yeah. Standing by right now on the line is Rachel Sutherland from Fox News. I can't come up with a word. I'm already fasting. It's terrible. It's just been 2 minutes already. That's it. Rachel Sutherland standing by right now on McConnell's hope that we're going to avoid a government shutdown. What do you think the chances are, Rachel? Good morning.
Well, I think the government could have a heart 2 sizes too small this year. It could shut down, I think, on December 21st at midnight because the House actually is taken off for 5 days. And a lot of these folks are just short timers. They don't call it a lame duck for nothing. There's a report in Politico this morning that House Speaker Paul Ryan is considering a plan that would give President Trump his $5 billion of down payment on the border wall, but it would freeze the rest of the funding through the beginning of next year. But even if that makes it out of the House, the Senate's not going to go for it. You have to get Democratic support there. So right now, there's no real plan in place, and the clock is ticking. I think that we could see a shutdown. Earlier this year in January, there was a shutdown over the same issue. It lasted 3 days.
It's interesting because the president's saying you have no idea how much of the wall has already been built. Others, critics will come back and say that's not true. There's not much of the wall that has been built. So which is it? And
well, I need to go down there and find out.
We're going to have to. I think we all have to we've got to have a day trip to get down and figure it out because in politics today, it just depending on what side you're listening to, it's so hard to filter through the truth. And the president saying if this deal isn't done, that he'll have the military build the wall.
Now, that's interesting, yeah, because originally he had told the Pentagon in 2020 to expect $700 billion budget. That's far below what they were hoping at $733. Then he came out the other day and said, hold on, $750 $1 billion. So there's the money. But I don't know. I'd have to ask someone, who in the know here.
Yeah.
Can he really pull that?
Yeah.
That's a Homeland Security thing, not a Department of Defense thing.
Right. It's almost like our military will sometimes go in a nation rebuilding situation, or during hurricanes that happens. But this is a stretch. It might be very unprecedented. I'm not sure this has ever been done.
I'm not sure either. It's like, can you take from that cookie jar? I don't know.
All right, interesting stuff. So it's possible by the 21st, the shutdown could occur. Crazy.
It could. Let's stay tuned.
All right, Rachel, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News. Sean called. I want to take his advice. What did he say? Can I take the Nexium or not?
He just wanted to talk to you.
Okay. I'm sorry, Sean. I had to take Rachel. We only have a short window. If you want to call back, we'll take your call. Brandon Lang coming up. Week number 15. Believe it or not, week 15, and we're just a week and a half away from Christmas. Brandon Lang. Also, Congressman-elect Anthony Brindisi will be on the radio. There's news that Nancy Pelosi has gotten the votes she needs. Is one of those votes from Anthony Brindisi? We'll find out this hour. Brandon Lang coming up here in a minute. We'll speak with Brandon on the NFL picks for the weekend. Seneca just had that commercial that aired. And I told you, $18.99 for Svedka vodka. That's normally, in some stores you'll see that at like $23, $24. I think their normal price is $20 for that. But $18.99 without a mail-in rebate, that's pretty impressive. But they've announced they also carry local products as well. And the Adirondack Distilling Company has added an award-winning portfolio, a maple barrel finished bourbon. Kind of an interesting. I'm assuming it has a bit of the maple flavor to it. But that's available locally. And they're doing quite well. That's down on Barrack Street, right?
Oh, yes, the Adirondack Distillery.
Yes. What else this morning? Coming up in a few minutes, we'll speak with Anthony Brindisi, Congressman-elect Brindisi, and discuss I want to get into the Nancy Pelosi thing. If you've not followed this, here in a nutshell is what's happened. It seemed like the question was, would she have the votes to become Speaker? And as of yesterday, it looks like she has negotiated 6 members of those 16 House members that had said that they would not support her. It looks like she has the 6 that she would need to get the votes, and it looks like she is on her way to becoming Speaker. And to be honest, the Democrats didn't put anybody up as an alternative anyway.
Yeah.
Who are they going to go with?
Always wondering who was going to oppose her.
I believe what the plan was for those 16 is that they were going to fight it, and if a last minute somebody would come forward and she wouldn't have enough votes, and they would go with the alternative. But she has the votes. She's there, and it looks like it's over. So we'll speak with Anthony Brindisi. You know that was a big part of the campaign. Obviously, the Tenney side saying he's going to support Pelosi, and Brindisi saying, I will not vote for her. It was also brought up if there would be sort of retribution over that for those that didn't vote for her. And the word is that she doesn't do that. That's what Nancy Pelosi says.
She says she does not.
I don't do that.
Yeah, but she just outright punishes people. She doesn't. There's no retribution.
That's probably it. Bill in New Hartford, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. You know, there is a positive about tomorrow, your
colonoscopy.
Colonoscopy.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
What is it?
No one will be able to accuse you of being full of it tomorrow.
Oh, that is true. That's a very good point. I have not completely experienced it, but I feel there's a lot of exiting going on over the next 24 hours. So,
okay,
all right.
Good luck.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And as Tim Reed has said on this whole thing, it's just about getting, and that's the difference that we have today. Is that it's that getting detection early on something. It's treatable. This stuff is treatable if you can if you can catch it early. And I believe is that Brandon standing by right now, and it is BrandonLang.com is the website to go to if you're thinking about doing any Week 15 betting. And Brandon Lang on the line now. Good morning.
Morning, boys and girls.
So, by the way, do you think, and not that it matters, and you had said this, and we talked a bit about it last week, Syracuse somehow got into the top 25 this week, and a 3-way tie in the AP poll I realize it doesn't matter. Who do they play on Saturday, Davey?
They play Old Dominion.
Old Dominion. Brandon, we were talking yesterday. I get the feeling that this is a really good team that's getting no credit right now, and we're going to watch them grow as the season goes on.
Well, I not to beat a dead horse, but I said that they're a team, and it's been Jim's excuse me, MO is that they start off slow and they build, and then when you get to be January, February, they're a beast.
Yeah.
And he recruits the same kind of kids, the same kind of kids with length in that 2-3 matchup zone. It's not rocket science. This is what we do. Execute against us. He just, and I take you back to the run they made when they barely got in, and everybody said they shouldn't get in a couple years ago, and they made the Final Four.
Yeah.
This is what they do, and I never get up in arms about anything with Syracuse because I was one of those that thought they shouldn't have got in that year, and then they proved me wrong by getting to the Final Four, and that's Jim in a nutshell. And I don't, you know what? I think in places you don't talk about at parties, Jim doesn't care.
Yeah.
He knows where his team's going to be in February and early March, and he just goes about his business, and he leaves all the outside chatter and outside noise to everybody else, and he just goes about his business. And that's what I love about him.
I want to ask you also, just personal, I'd like your take, and I know you have some connections and have had connections to the Mets, but Syndergaard, this trade that's being rumored, I was arrested yesterday for harassment. I unfortunately repeatedly called the Mets front office and was yelling, don't do it, don't do it. What do you think?
I think they have to do it.
Can't.
Obviously, knowing Terry Collins the way I do, and right before Terry decided he was done, I remember sitting in the dugout with him. Went to the stadium. He didn't know I was there. Walked down to the field. Security was kind of like, I had to convince security to let me go down there that I knew him. And as he was 15 minutes before the game, as he was going down into the dugout, I yelled TC, and he stopped. He looked at me, and he hadn't seen me in about 3 years, and came up and unlocked the gate. And the security guy says, "Go." And I remember sitting with him, and I remember saying to him, "Are you coming back?" And he said, "No, it's time." He goes, "It's just time. I'm tired." He goes, "It's been a great run." I go, but look what you have coming back.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Listen to me. We had the same thing this year." And, man, they went to the World Series, and the very next year, all high hopes, and everybody got injured. Syndergaard got injured again. Mott's got injured again. Harvey got injured again. And the staff just imploded. And he was like going, it's just time. And if you watch them, that World Series, when they had everybody healthy, and they still couldn't win it, Harvey in Game 1, DeGrom in Game 2, Syndergaard Game 3, Mott's game, it just, everybody was right there. Somebody's got to go. It ain't going to be DeGrom. I mean, you hold on to the Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
But it's got to be Syndergaard. And you know what? If they get the right guys from him, I agree with the move.
Well, it is the big rumor. It hasn't happened yet, but do you think they'll trade to the Yankees?
They'll trade to whoever they trade that they feel they'll get the right personnel. Now, I apologize to you because I've probably known if you had gone here. I'm in Vegas. The winter baseball meetings are at Mandalay Bay. I was down there last night at the scout party where they honored the scouts, and I can tell you it was electric. They had all the MLB network set up all over at Mandalay Bay. I was running around. I could have been down there with my best friend Tommy, as you know, is an agent, and he was working the Brewers a little bit because he has Wade Miley. And if you followed Wade Miley, he was unsigned last year. Tommy got him a minor league deal with the Brewers, and Miley got called up second half and was their best pitcher. And he went 6-2 with a 2 and change ERA. He's staring down the barrel of making himself 3 years, 20-something million. Tommy was working the lobby all day yesterday. If I'd have known you were going there, I'd have been down there working the lobby with Tommy to get you an answer. And I could have got you an answer because you to watch Tommy work the lobbies like Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him. Every GM, every this, every that. Shoot, I probably could have got an answer for you. I apologize. I'm not doing my job.
Let's go to I just want to throw out some quick local games. I know I've taken up a lot of your time here. The Jets hosting Houston. We're back to Saturday games starting this weekend.
Yeah, how about the Jets, huh? They go down to Tennessee and cover the number, and they turn around and win themselves a football game up in Buffalo after a Buffalo team absolutely destroyed them in the first meeting. I think Houston is a different beast altogether coming off a loss. I think the Jets' luck runs out. I'm not a big road favorite guy. You know me. But I would lose with Houston before I take a shot with the Jets.
Giants are hosting Tennessee on Sunday.
Tennessee in an absolute must-win. Giants, theoretically, 8-8 might get you a wild card spot.
Yeah.
Based on where everybody's at, but Tennessee must win underneath a field goal game. Better defense. Tennessee.
Give us one pick. I'm not even going to give you the Bills game. Give us a pick.
You want a pick? I'll give you a pick. Tonight, Kansas City over San Diego. I'm always going to call them San Diego. I'm not going to call them L.A.
I did the same thing in my sports update at 7 and 8.
Yeah.
The whole world is on the Chargers, and I'm just going to tell you, I know it's a look-ahead game off the emotional win against Pittsburgh, but you're getting Kansas City less than 3.5 points at home against a Chargers team that allowed Jeff Driscoll to go up and down the field on you, the worst defense in the NFL, a team that the Cleveland Browns beat by 15 at Cincinnati, and they went into L.A., and you watch the Chargers need to sweat a 2-point conversion to beat the Bengals with a backup quarterback and no A.J. Green.
Yeah.
They're going to go on the road on a short week on a Thursday night and beat this team? Sorry, I think Kansas City's the right side of the game.
What's the line?
It's 3.5 by the half, lay 3.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, it's BrandonLang.com.
Yep.
Enjoy Vegas, Brandon. We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week. Thanks, man.
Got it. Thanks,
right.
guys.
Okay. We'll break. I think we're catching Brandon on the late end of a long night in Vegas.
Well, and he's living there
to be
now.
honest. Is that where he
moved
lives?
from Florida to Vegas.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
That's perfect for a gambler.
Oh, yeah.
8:29. Hold on. We'll talk to Brian. I'm sorry. We're going to talk to the Congressman-elect, Anthony Brindisi. Also, Professor Alan Sachs through Fox News coming up at WIBX. What do you think on Brandon Lang? I disagree. I don't think this deal is going through.
I don't
this
either.
trade. They've kind of it was hot earlier in the week, and it does not seem to be. He's saying absolutely is going to happen. And oh, by the way, he's sitting down there in the dugout with Terry Collins.
Yeah,
15 minutes before a game.
I could be wrong here, but I just know the way that professional sports before this year or the last year and a half, they're more open to gambling. But he is like a what do they call it? A whale. He's like a big time gambler.
No, they did a movie about his life.
I mean, exactly.
He's a handicapper. There's a difference. But yes, he's involved in the gambling.
I think he's laying money on these games. Are you crazy? It's just the fact.
Mark, you want a comment from Mark?
Yeah.
I would rather have a colonoscopy in the middle of Times Square than have a drink with that pompous ass Brandon Lang.
Wow. Okay. Well, we
so
know
it's a little harsh.
He got some reaction from people this morning.
I just think the idea that Terry Collins is letting him down on the field right before a game when whether he's a gambler or a handicapper where he could get inside information. Our buddy from Rome, Rob Manfred, would be like, no.
Well, I know, but
get him out of the dugout
15 minutes before a
while
game,
you're setting the
optics alone are a little rough. Professor Alan Sachs is with
University of Texas at Arlington. Yes,
you want to do it?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
University of Texas
at Arlington. Yes, he's a political science professor.
We haven't spoken with the professor in quite some time. Professor Alan Sachs, good morning.
I don't know where I'm from today.
That's how I feel. Believe me.
I don't know where I'm from. I had eye surgery yesterday, and boy, my whole everything is off balance.
Wow! Did you? Was it a cataract surgery?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was bad. I don't mean it was bad. It was just my cataracts were really bad.
Okay.
This morning, I can't see.
You can't see anything this morning. Well,
it's worse than I was when I had cataracts.
All right, I'm going to try a little test here. How many fingers am I holding up right now? Ready, go.
8.
Okay, you're right. I don't know how you did it. All right, so you clearly can't see this migrant caravan from where you are this morning, but you're close enough. There's a story out there that they're making demands. They're making some monetary demands, right?
It's only $50,000 a piece.
Wow.
I'd say pay him. I give him $50,000 a piece and a cake.
So if you haven't followed this, the word is that they're demanding from the president $50,000 each, and if he pays them, they will turn around and go back to where they came from.
Otherwise, let us in.
Yeah. Otherwise, we need to come in.
I have a better idea. Why don't we pay a lot of people in the United States $50,000 and they can leave?
Yeah. There's probably a few that would be better off. So what is it? I mean,
I have my list because there's a lot of Hollywood that says if Donald Trump gets elected, we're leaving, but they're still here. So give them a little incentive to leave.
I want to ask you, what is it like down there? What's the general feel down there along that border?
You don't hear much about it. I'm here in North Texas, but I also talk to people in McAllen, Edinburgh, right on the border, and they don't seem to sense anything dramatic going on. This has been going on in one way or another for many, many years down there. So I don't think it's really over dramatized at this point, as far as I know. What we do see, and this has happened for many, many years here in our big cities in Texas, you see on some fields here in Arlington, Texas, we're a big tourist area, and you do see migrants always
working
in fields, parking lots, waiting for jobs, and you feel terrible about it, but it's one thing that I think shows that there's been migrants crossing the border for many, many years.
Yeah.
I feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know what to do.
And aren't we? I mean, we really are guilty as a nation, as employers, because we've been hiring these workers knowing that it's illegal, but you get to pay these low wages, and in some cases, they're jobs that people don't want to take. But we've kind of created our own problem here, and it's getting to the point where something has to be done.
What I do, and this is not because of any goodness or anything like that, it's maybe guilt conscience or something, but every Christmas I go out with some people that are Spanish-speaking, and we go to these areas of town in this huge Dallas-Fort Worth area and give them money, quite frankly. It's something that just makes me feel good. It's not out of any goodness. I'm not the nicest guy on the block or anything like that, but that's what we do. And I mention it because when we drive up, the Spanish speakers in the car yell to them, "No trabajo," and I think trabajo means no work. So it's not where they're there to employ them,
right?
Just to give them something, but they surround the car. It's unbelievable. It's like 20 men surround the car, and some look like they're domestic as well.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking when you see it.
All right, Professor, we appreciate your time, and then we've seen a real soft side of you here this morning. That's
well, I guess when you're not feeling good and you can barely see,
that's what does
comes
it.
out.
That's what happens.
I'll be tougher tomorrow.
I'd like one final, as long as we're going down the sensitive road. George H.W. Bush, certainly big around the country, up in Maine, of course, but in Texas, especially in the Houston area, this was someone who was really, really loved by people.
He was, although it has to be said, since we're talking now about Saudi Arabia a lot, and this in no way diminishes who George H.W. Bush was, but the Bush administration, in fact, many American presidents, Democratic, Republican alike, had very close ties to Saudi Arabia. I mention that because now we're yelling about Saudi Arabia. After 50 years, after 75 years of this shenanigans going on with Saudi Arabia, suddenly we're saying, it's terrible because of Khashoggi. But the Bush administration, the Carter administration, the Clinton administration, all had going all the way back to Franklin Roosevelt, had very close ties with the Saudis.
Well, the difference in this case, Professor, and you correct me if I'm wrong, this one was really, really public. And
it was.
That's the problem with this one. The other ones, think about how many things have been done, how many things have happened. For God's sakes, they're just allowing women to drive.
That's right.
How many things have happened that we never heard about? And those things are A-OK because the public doesn't know.
And the spread of Wahhabism, radical Islam all over the world.
Yeah. All right, Professor, thank you so much.
You, sir.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
That's Alan Sachs, University of Texas at Arlington. Quick break. We'll come right back with Congressman-elect Anthony Brindisi. The news is out on Pelosi. She has the votes. will one of those votes be from Anthony Brindisi? We'll talk to him coming up next at WIBX. I should mention Bremer's as well because they're advertising as well. Have you ever seen a liquor store where people were so dedicated to the store as Bremer's? It's really quite.
Like the fans?
Yeah, they're and they hold all these events and that sort of thing. And I have friends that are they feel the same way as what you hear in the commercial. They're like fans of the place. And think about what it was like around here. I mean, I'm a big fan, too, of the small-town liquor stores. But these big ones, they come in with such incredibly competitive prices. It's amazing. I'm just saying. 8:50, the congressman-elect is standing by right now, Anthony Brindisi. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I heard you were up in Lake Placid for a little skating.
It's amazing. When you go away, you still see people from back home everywhere you go.
It's funny, isn't it? All right.
But it was nice. It's a wonderful place to visit all year round, but especially up around Christmas time.
Yeah, they say that Lake Placid is unbelievably beautiful at Christmas time. So
it is. It's like just the village is all lit up, and the stores are all open. People are on the streets. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so the news is out. It looks like Nancy Pelosi will be the Speaker of the House, and there are, I believe, 6 defectors from the defectors. Are you one of them?
I am not one of them, no. I made my commitment that I'm not voting for Nancy Pelosi. I'm not changing my mind on that. That's a commitment that I made during the campaign, and people are going to make their own deals. I think it's a good thing that she has said that she would limit herself to her final term as Speaker, but in any event, I'm not voting for her.
All right. So how did she? I mean, it seems she's a much tougher negotiator. I'm hearing than especially behind the scenes. Have you experienced any of that?
Well, she's definitely a great tactician. That's something that was known before all of this. But my dealings with her have always been pleasant. We've always had very cordial conversations about the district and the needs of the community. But she seems to really care. But again, I'm not breaking my commitment.
Did she lobby for your vote?
I wouldn't say lobby. She certainly asked for my support.
Uh-huh.
I told her that I've been saying for months now that I think it's time for new leadership on both sides of the aisle in the House. And for me, coming from a legislature here in New York State, I've always been supportive of term limits of legislative leaders and committee chairs. I just think that every once in a while you have to have turnover of who's in charge so you can bring some new people in, get some fresh ideas. That's good for democracy.
They say it's an old tradition that congressmen and congresswomen will give a nickname to their office. I was wondering if you've come up with anything, broom closet, telephone booth? What?
I look like the staging location for a construction site. So I don't know if you saw any of the pictures I put online, but we actually have a great office. It's in the Cannon office building. I didn't get the highest lottery number, so you get to pick. I had to pick towards the bottom of the office selection pool. But we got a great office, and as I said, it's really not the view that matters; it's what's inside. And we have a great office, and we're going to fill it with good people who represent the area well.
Now, how does that work, by the way? So let's say you go through 2 years and you get reelected.
Yes.
Do you go back through the lottery, or do you now move up and the incoming members use the lottery system?
Well, it's all based on seniority. It's still a lottery system, but you won't go back into the lottery with the freshman members. You go into a lottery with people who are on equal footing with you.
Yeah.
I'll have to move the office in 2 years no matter what. That's the one thing about the Cannon building. It's under construction right now. They're doing a lot of asbestos abatement and renovations in the building. So my office and several others in the building are slated for closure in 2020 to be renovated. So I'm going to have to move one way or the other in 2 years. But this is a good office for the time being.
Yeah.
We're gonna work hard.
It's like the college campus dorm building lottery. Everybody freaks out. Oh, I got to get a good number. Where should we do? Where should we go?
I don't know if you get.
Well, listen, it's the same way in Congress. It's people have all kinds of if you're superstitious, you have your routine when you go up to pick your number, and
it's
no different in Congress than it is in college, I guess.
I want to wrap it up here. I know you're busy this morning. I appreciate that we were able to grab you quickly here this morning. But I don't know how you are with interns. Do you have interns? You'll have interns? Have they disallowed that now in Washington?
No, they do allow that. It's a little early for us to say whether we're going to have them or not.
Yeah.
I'm really focused right now on hiring people for both the district offices as well as the office in Washington. That's really been the focus and of the hiring process in our office right now.
I ask that because I'm a firm believer that interns, the best thing for an intern is to make them work so that they have something to do. The worst thing for an intern is alphabetical order stuff and just sitting there and not have anything to do. So I've given the task of, it's Ariana, right?
Yes, Ariana.
What school do you go to?
I go to Whitesboro High School.
Okay. I've said she has to ask you a question, Anthony. So here we go. This is Ariana.
Right.
Say hello.
You have that drum roll? No.
All right.
So what are some of the biggest differences between Albany and your time so far in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, that was a good question.
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of similarities just because of the legislative process. I think some of the big differences are you're dealing with a wider group of people who represent various parts of the country, as opposed to just being in the state where there's a lot of similar interests. But you're working with a lot of new people, and you have to find common ground, and that's something I'm looking forward to trying to do over the course of my time.
All right. That was nice. Any follow-up? Are you good?
No, that answered my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You satisfied her needs.
I just want to say, you have a very nice voice as it is, but her voice is incredible on a mic,
isn't
it?
Very good voice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I think you should have her on more, Bill.
We're going to start doing that.
Andrew,
what are you trying to say?
Goodbye, Andrew.
See ya. Congressman-elect Anthony Brindisi, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay, we got to go. Back here tomorrow morning. That's the plan. Mm-hmm. I am in the midst of the honorary Tim Reed colonoscopy tomorrow morning, and Tim is the one who's inspired it. So I hope to be here at 6 a.m. tomorrow.